This is Michael Cowen, and welcome to Trial Lawyer Nation.
You are the leader in the courtroom, and you want the jury to be looking to you for the answers.
When you figure out your theory, never deviate.
You want the facts to be consistent, complete, incredible.
The defense has no problem running out the clock. Delay is the friend of the defense.
It's tough to grow a firm by trying to hold on and micromanage.
You've got to front load a simple structure for jurors to be able to hold on to.
What types of creative things can we do as lawyers, even though we don't have a trial setting?
Whatever you've got to do to make it real, you've got to do to make it real. But the person who needs convincing is you.
Welcome to the award-winning podcast, Trial Lawyer Nation, your source to win bigger verdicts, get more cases, and manage your law firm. And now, here's your host, noteworthy author, sought-after speaker, and renowned trial lawyer, Michael Cowen.
Welcome to today's Trial Lawyer Nation. I'm joined by a great attorney out of California, Mike Alder. Mike, how you doing today?
Doing good, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been a trial lawyer in Los Angeles for 30 years, grew up in Louisiana. I'm also licensed there. I like to say I'm now a Louisiana rancher that practices law part-time, but I've been trying cases for 30 years, kind of all over the country.
Well, not just trying cases. I did a little research on you. You've got over 130 trials, over $3 billion in verdicts.
Not in verdicts and settlements.
Okay, verdicts and settlements. Still not a bad haul.
No, it's a good living when you can get it.
How did you develop your skills and learn how to try cases?
So I worked for some good people. I learned under a guy in LA who actually taught many of the really top trial lawyers in Los Angeles. But everything about trying cases is about exposure, and it's about doing it and stepping outside your comfort zone, trying things, preparing yourself to be in a stressful situation. And you learn how to do it, then you learn how to do it, and then you learn more and more and more. And then you come to conventions, you come and talk to other people that are successful with an understanding that you're never good enough. You can always learn, you can always retool, and you just keep at it.
Something interesting you said is you just got to get in there and try cases and try cases. You and I have both tried over 120 cases. I hear from so many lawyers nowadays, you just can't get to trial anymore. What do you say to that?
So it's interesting. I've recognized that. And other than a couple of the bigger toxic tort trials I've done, the last 10 or 15 trials I have kind of put out on social media. If any newer lawyer wants to join as co-counsel to get that trial experience, they can come, we win, they get credit for the trial. But most importantly, you understand this, they're exposed to the trial strategy and the witness prep and the scheduling. And when the judge doesn't allow this, how you maneuver and go around. And that's really not something that you can teach. It's something you have to experience with an understanding of the facts. And so I've had different firms, sole practitioners join me on different cases, and it really has helped them a lot. And then I have a program for the last 15 years where I will pay half of a new lawyer's trial costs and preparation costs if they agree not to settle for cheap but try the case.
Oh, wow.
And it's non-recourse, so if they lose, they don't owe me anything. And it's gotten some good results from people who would have been outspent, couldn't try the case. It's got them into court, so it's good.
Yeah, I also really recommend that there are smaller cases, like car wreck cases, slip and fall cases that are not really high risk. The numbers going into your client pot when you settle those cases, if the client has $1,500, $2,000 at risk, it's not life-changing money. Just go try those cases. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. That's how I cut my
teeth, man. That started, I was doing 8 to 12 trials a year, mostly 100,000 and under cases. That's how you cut your teeth, right?
I cut them on smarter than that. Yeah, 25,000 and under cases. And every now, third one we get lucky and, we'd pop for bigger than that. But that's, I just don't understand it. When I hear people say you can't get to trial, there aren't such great offers from the insurance industry. It doesn't make sense to me. I think the people just have, I hate to say it, I don't want to put anyone down, but you have a fear of losing or not talking out, okay, well, what happens if we lose? I mean, your client's not going to die. You're not going to lose your reputation. In fact, typically, if you actually go in there and start trying cases, you will increase your reputation.
Win or lose, actually.
So that is so good of you that you actually are doing things to mentor people outside your firm.
It's good karma. It's just being good. It's also good business, right? I have, grew up in the South. My dad was a preacher and a teacher. I just kind of came to LA thinking that everybody loved everybody and helped everybody and gave and didn't ask for anything in return. And that's just kind of been the gig. I was taught you give unconditionally, you'll get back 1,000-fold. For me, that certainly has been has happened. But helping somebody is just good and good karma, and it always comes back to you. Even if it doesn't result in business, it's just good way of living.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me about your firm.
So opened my PI firm about 25 years ago. Tried kind of everything that moved in PI. Then people started asking me to try other types of cases. Tried an employment case 15 years ago. I'm like, shit, this is easy. This is great. Now I have a number of employment cases. About 5-6 years ago, I opened a separate workers' comp firm. They all kind of cross-pollinate each other, all with the idea of if you need help, we can help you.
What size firm do you have?
So on the PI side, we've got 14 lawyers. Comp side, we've got 5 lawyers. Primarily Southern California cases, but I've tried cases kind of all over the country.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, as much from a selfish point of view, because I really want to apply the answers in my own life.
Sure.
But I'm hoping it helps the listeners as well. So first of all, how do you balance running a firm with like 19 total lawyers? That's a lot more than that when you add all your non-lawyer employees, and trying cases yourself?
You got to have help. I'm a big believer in constantly learning about the business of law. And the problem, that E-Myth, I don't know if you ever read the book.
Yeah,
E-Myth.
absolutely.
And then E-Myth Revisited. I was one of those entrepreneurs that did everything myself and said, well, if I can do it all, then why don't I just open a bigger business and do it all? And then got burned out. Management, finance, organization, intake. You can't try cases on a big scale and do all that stuff. So you've got to really let go and understand what you want to do, what you're good at, and then hire the right people to do that other stuff.
And when you hire the other people, I guess I got a couple of follow-ups. How do you find the right people?
You pray.
Okay.
You know what? You hire slow and fire quick, and I've hired quick and fired slow, like we all have. And you learn how to do that. You learn that many times there are good people that are good workers that don't fit your culture, and that's just not a good fit. And there are some people that are kind of cancerous, and you want to get rid of them. And you're always trying to encourage and offer the people that are good workers with your culture the opportunity to advance, So I've got a assistant who was a paralegal who just left. She was my right-hand woman. She just left for law school. And that was something we've been encouraging for 5-6 years. She's going to come back as a lawyer.
Oh, great.
And she's going to kill it because that's who we know she is, and she fits our culture. And so that is a great hire.
And when you hire the right people.
Alanis, shout out to you, girl. Come
All right.
on.
And when you hire the right people, how do you make sure they're actually doing what you want to do and the way you want them to do it?
So in our firm, I'm kind of a big picture manager, but we have a managing attorney, we have a supervising attorney, we have teams, we have reporting that each of us look at for different reasons. I may be looking at big picture, why are we not making as much money? And then it trickles down to more specific. But I mean, these are the things that some people are watching. I want to be a great trial lawyer, and therefore I can then make a lot of money. If you're trying a lot of cases and you make money, that requires intake, staff, office. planning, preparation, motivation, all these different things that my law students at Loyola on my advanced litigation skills, their first question is, how do I make $1 billion and be a great trial lawyer? And I'm like, hold on. And I would say, well, great. Here's what you got to do. You got to make your bed every morning and take a cold shower every morning. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, look, you're already putting all these things through your head. You want to do the stuff that you like and that's good, but I don't like the cold. Why do I make my bed? That's not relevant. Your success is primarily dictated by your ability to step outside your comfort zone and consistently do things that you don't like to do. And if you don't like the cold, all the more reason for you to get in that shower. Because if you're not willing to do that on a regular basis for decades, then don't come to me and say you're ever going to be prepared to try $1 billion trial against the biggest law firms in the world. Because you will run out. You will give up when the going gets really, really tough. And you don't prepare for that by trying and losing $10 billion trials. You prepare by doing small disciplines over time that then get you to a point there. It's not sexy. It's not fun. It's very hard. What a blessing, because 98% of the people give up before they get here.
So what are things you do in life that you think allow you to have the type of success you do?
I believe in excellence equals consistent, mostly ordinary behavior done over time to create good habits that you combine with other good habits that make you excellent. So what does that mean for me? And it doesn't have to be for everybody, but I have a routine. I wake up at 4, I get in the cold shower, I eat sardines every morning, I lay on a spiked mat, I meditate, I focus practice, I learn Spanish on Duolingo, I write a grateful list, I write a positive list, I map out my morning. I have all of these different things that the first couple of times I started to do it took me a lot longer than it does now. Now by 6 a.m., when other people are getting up, I've done the equivalent of what some people's entire day is. And I don't even think about it anymore because it's become habitual. And then people say, well, how do you have the energy? How do you stay in shape? How do you do whatever? It's a series of incremental things that take less and less willpower because it's easier for me to do because it's become routine. Now, that may have taken me years to kind of develop, but now I'm cooking with gas, right? And that is what it takes. You don't just wake up. Even if you're talented and beautiful and rich and whatever, and then start making money and winning cases. It just doesn't happen.
So I want to ask about some of those things. You said a gratitude list, and what's the other list?
I have a positive list of things I've done in the last 24 hours.
Okay.
I do a series of things to take care of my body, my mind, my mindset. I want to learn. I'm learning Spanish, so I have Duolingo. I do a certain amount of time. I'm very big on social media, so I commit to writing a LinkedIn article, to writing some personal notes every day, to commenting on different platforms on social media, to now putting it on Threads, which, I didn't used to do. But every day I do it, and I get it off my list, and I have it written down, and I share it with anybody who wants it. And 98% of people say, great, I'll do it. And then they don't do it. No problem.
So what is the purpose in your mind of doing? I'll start with a positive list. You write down the positive things you've done in the last 24 hours.
I'm thinking positive. I'm encouraging myself to do things that I know are going to go on my list. But I also speak it. And how you talk is how you think. How you think is how you act. So when I say I took a great depo yesterday, that's positive, right? I spent time with my kids, positive. I'm also reinforcing that I want to do that more, but it also makes me feel good. It also is motivation and visualization for what I want to do in the future that's positive. Again, I'm not saying that takes up my whole day. but it is all a process that makes people accomplish their goals and makes them better.
And the gratitude list.
Gratitude is just gratitude. If you thought about, what are you most grateful for, right? You're going to come and say, my family, my health, big thing. But if you do it every day, then you start really saying, I'm grateful for clean air. I'm grateful for fresh water. And then every once in a while, I'm walking in a garden and I'm like present because I'm like, wow, those flowers are beautiful. I'm really grateful to be here. It's just practice. And you practice being grateful, it makes you more grateful. You practice being ungrateful, it makes you more ungrateful. And it's not OCD, it's not craziness, it's not whatever. And if anybody watches this and goes, yeah, well, he's just nuts, obsessed, OCD, those are the 98% that talk themselves out of really improving their lives. And God bless them, because those of us who don't are running by them.
Yeah, I'm not as consistent as you are, but I do try to work hard on positivity and on gratitude. And it's made a huge difference in my personal life, my mental health. Can you share how you think that makes a difference in your professional life?
Oh, cataclysmically, when I'm in a long trial, let's see, we're here at this convention. I brought my spiked mat. I brought my sardines for the morning. I have a ice plunge that I do in my face plunge. I brought a little bowl. I brought the straps that I use in the workouts. What? But you know what? I do that at trial. A week-long trial, both sides, we're duking it out. 2 weeks, they're lit and tired. 3 weeks, I'm running by them. A month, they're exhausted and I'm still going because I keep a routine. If you drink, then don't drink in trial. I chose to stop drinking completely, but it's no big deal, right? But don't drink in trial. If you're eating 14-ounce steaks every night when you're in trial, you're going to feel it. But working out, walking, drinking water, sleeping. I talk a big game here in Vegas, right? Right now, I'm intending to party all night. But I know by 8:30, I'm going to bed. But I'll get up at 4 and I'll feel good. Repeat.
Okay, now the spiked mat is a new one for me. Explain that.
It's interesting. I was talking to a lawyer. He's here, actually. We're talking about focus practice and meditation. And he goes, have you ever done it on a spiked meditation mat? And I'm like, what the hell? Gives me the Amazon link. And I buy it. And it's an acupressure, like, the spikes on the bottom of golf shoes?
Yeah.
They put it on a mat. And then when I lay on it, it took me about a week, and then I did it without a shirt. Then you can do it on front, back, butt, thighs, whatever. And you meditate and think or just kind of chill. And it's good pain. But I got to tell you, it focuses the crap out of you. And it's wonderful. And I've told people about it. I bought like 20 of them on Amazon and I give them to people. And the people who use it, they're like, dude, that's really amazing. And it's not something intuitive. I've never thought about it until somebody mentioned it.
I'm going to try that. I've fallen off some of my disciplines. I was doing really well. I was at another convention, got up at 6:30, went on a group run. After 5 miles, I tripped and I broke my arm.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. It takes you out.
But it's taken me out, not just the not running, but it's taken me out of a lot of my other disciplines. I've eaten worse. I'm drinking more. I think something like that may help kind of refocus, because once I get back from Vegas, I got to get back into.
That's called inertia and momentum.
Yeah.
And so when I talk about making my bed every morning, and then you wake up and you go, I can skip it today because it's not that big of a deal. You don't realize that makes you more likely to be undisciplined in something else. And the converse is true. If I wake up and make my bed and take a cold shower and do all these things every morning, I'm going to be more disciplined when X, Y, and Z happen that later in the day. And if I blow it off and give an excuse, I'm more likely to do that later. And again, I don't mean to overstate it. It's not like, holy crap, if I don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to fall apart. And if I do it, I'm going to be great. But different strokes for different folks. But basic discipline and basic stepping into discomfort is a building block that every major successful person in the world does, whether you know about it or not.
Each year, the law firm of Cowen Rodriguez Peacock pays millions of dollars in co-counsel fees to attorneys nationwide on trucking and commercial vehicle cases. If you have an injury case involving death or catastrophic injuries and would like to partner with our firm, please contact us by calling 210-941-1301 to discuss the case in detail and see where we can add value in a partnership. And now, back to the show.
Do you have time for family and personal? Tell me about that.
So I'm married to an amazing lawyer. Second marriage. Between us, we have 6 kids. We have a similar mindset. She's a gorgeous, wonderful 4-language speaker who's happened to be on a women's empowerment trip that she does in Cabo.
Oh, wow.
While I'm here in Vegas tag teaming. But similar routines, that kind of stuff. But she and I both think that work-life balance is a dirty word.
Okay.
Balance implies that if I take this, then I take away from the other. And we believe, at least we talk, that we can do it all. You just have to make sure that you make priority decisions at certain times. And so when I spend time with my family, I don't look at it as at the detriment of something else. I just focus on the positive of what I'm doing. And because you can kind of get, I hear that all the time. You know, I'm always at work and it takes away my family. I'm like, well, then choose your family more.
Yeah.
Oh, but I can't because I'm like, you can do and build whatever you want. Yeah, but it's hard. And I'm like, I get it. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. Well, I'm really busy. Well, the alternative sucks.
Yep.
And when you think about it like that, and you think about making choices is a gift, and I don't have to do this. I get to do this. And just saying it's hard, but it's worth it. I know that sounds like platitudes, but how we talk changes how we think, which changes how we behave. And little things matter. And just changing it where you spend an extra 10 minutes with your kids means everything sometimes.
Yeah. That's something you've said a few times that really rings true to me, is how we talk affects how we think, which affects how we behave. What are some ways that people talk, you think, that ends up having a negative effect?
Man, I really need to do that. No, that's not owning it. When you say I need to do that, or I really should work out more, then I go, you're not working out more and you're making yourself feel like crap about it by saying you should do it. If you just said, I'm not working out much and I'm choosing not to do that, and you own it, you're much more likely to then say later, I'm choosing to do what I want to do. But need and should, and I'll do that later, and saying generally without specifics, I'll do it in the future, are recipes for just losing your life. And so I spend a lot of time checking myself, and to the detriment of people around me, checking them when they say stuff like, I really should do that. I'm like, well, then do it. And if you're not going to do it, stop saying that. And if you do it, stop saying it. You're not should doing it. I'm not doing it, or I will do it. Not should, not need. If you really needed it, you would have already done it. You mean you are going to do it? Okay, Mike. That kind of stuff I know can be a little irritating when somebody's on you, but it works. And people in my office now, when they hear themselves say it, they go, oh, okay, Mike, I got it. No. What I meant to say was, I'm choosing not to do it, but I'll choose to do it. And I'm like, there you go.
Yep.
Come on. There it is.
Yeah, I think getting rid of those excuses. Like, I had someone talking to me, and I was like, well, I'm traveling a lot. I do feel, my son, it's just October, September lined up more travel than normal for me, and I travel a lot. And my 13-year-old son's not happy about it. And someone says, oh, well, you're doing it for your family. I'm like, no, I'm not. That's a lie. I'm choosing to do this because it brings me joy. But the fact is, what my 13-year-old son wants is a good internet connection Domino's Pizza.
Yep.
If he has those two things, so I could go work, honestly, I could go back to waiting tables and give my 13-year-old son everything he wants. So now I don't feel bad about it because I choose to also be very present for him and do things for him. And, I think I can have it all, but I also don't create this illusion that, oh, well, it's really for him and he should appreciate it. It's like, no, he shouldn't, because but I'm also saying an example, like, you should choose to have a life you live, and I love you and I'm going to give you my time, but I'm also going to choose to do the things I love.
Well, look, I'm here in Vegas. My wife's in Cabo. We've got an almost 3-year-old boy and a 18-month-old. The 3-year-old is like, don't go, Mom. Don't go, Dad. Where are you? Whatever. And even then, we're explaining, I'm going to work. I'll be gone for X amount of time. I love you unconditionally. And when I'm back, we'll be together. But I'm doing this because it's something that I want to do. It's something that I'm going to do as part of my work. I'm not going to lie. We're going to go to Disneyland and what? No, straight up.
Yeah.
Whether he understands it or not, eventually he'll get it. And even when I explained it to him, he's like, oh, okay, so you'll be back in 3 days. I'm like, yep.
Exactly. You talked about stepping into discomfort. I want to ask you a couple of areas about that. So I want to start with the first one, was adding another practice area. So you added a workers' comp practice.
Correct.
I've had someone encourage me in one firm I have in New Mexico to add a workers' comp practice, and it scares me because I know nothing about it, and I don't want to screw it up, and I would have to hire somebody that knew what they're doing. How did you do that? I mean, to go in there and a totally different practice area, different rules, deadlines.
Well, for 20 plus years, I referred comp out to comp lawyers, and they were terrible, and I never got a referral fee. And when I had big construction cases and there were comp crossovers, they screwed the case up. So I was very frustrated. I learned a little bit about comp, but you're right. I don't know how to practice comp law. I knew the issues. I knew the big ticket about liens and contribution and that kind of stuff. But what form and what QME and what temporary disability form to file? No. So we figured out, let's learn a little more, but we're never going to be ready 100%. So we pulled the trigger, and then you went through a series of finding the right people. Turned out now, I hired, as the managing attorney, the lawyer who was Farmers Insurance Workers' Comp managing attorney for California.
Oh, wow.
And she's turned our workers' comp practice into a juggernaut. You don't make nearly as much money in workers' comp as you do in PI, but you help people a lot. And when you have crossover cases and you're both doing both sides, you can get the client more money. And I do employment, so there's a lot of employment disability. You get hurt at work, you go back, you can't do it and then they fire you. That's another source of business. I settled a big 8-figure crossover case on a comp case in a construction accident against a subcontractor. There's a lot of different things, but it's all based around helping people when they come to you. When they say, I got hurt, and you realize it was at work and they don't have a third-party case, I want to be able to help that person in comp.
Yeah.
And it's a great way of community-based helping people that come to you.
But I guess it started with finding people that did know all those technical details.
Yeah, and, comp is a whole practice area, and there's a whole comp part, just like in PI, there's a whole comp thing. So it's interesting.
And you mentioned employment cases. I know you also had some success in a toxic tort case. You've gone in and tried cases where you have no experience before in that type of case. Maybe use the example of the toxic tort case. I want to see, it's not just jumping into the discomfort, but it's also learning how to do it well and having success. So,
well, let me tell you. So maybe 2 years ago, I got approached by a law firm that did nothing but municipality contingency work where their groundwater was contaminated, and they sue chemical companies and gas companies for contamination. their main trial lawyer had a medical emergency and they went and looked for trial lawyers. I got interviewed, and when they talked to me, here I am 2 years ago, and they're like, you're going to have to do the biggest of the biggest cases around the country on stuff that you've never heard of before against lawyers from the biggest law firms in the world. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Oh, crap, I don't know how to do that. What if I fail? All of the talk. Well, I know how to control my mind through practice and meditation so I could stop that negative talk and push it away. I know how to take on challenges and do hard work on a long-term basis consistently over time. So I jumped in knowing that I had a trial in 5 months and I knew nothing, but I had discipline to learn that over 5 months. I didn't eat that elephant in 1 week. The first 3 weeks, I couldn't pronounce the name of the chemical. I'm like, perchlor, what? But over time, I learned it. And it turned out to be a blessing that I knew I wasn't in the weeds, and me and the jury spoke the same language.
Yeah.
And Latham and Watkins lawyers who do nothing but this were talking about, Vasos zones and all this stuff. And we're all like, what the hell are you talking about? I know that you dry clean these clothes and you put this crap in the ground and you made it and you sold it and it's still there and it's got to come out. You should pay for it. And jurors are like, oh, yeah. Oh, but that. And so that has turned into the first verdict, the bellwether. I didn't know what I was really doing 6 months before. Got a $60 million verdict on the first of 25 sites. Puerto Rico's hired me, New Jersey, Maryland, Pennsylvania, a bunch of cities in California. Next thing you know, I'm about to try a big case for a city in California. It settles for $230 million.
Wow.
2 years ago, I didn't even know what the hell this was. Thank God I have prepared to step outside my comfort zone. Thank God that I know how to control my fear and anxieties and whatever and not get intimidated. And when I am, to recognize that and zero it out and step back to what I know is me. Thank God that I know how to try a case for a month and not wig out.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen overnight. I've been working on this for 30 years, right? But then it explodes your practice in a way. And people are like, how do you do this? And I'm like, take a cold shower and make your bed. And that is a function of practice and preparation.
Now, you do a lot to give back. I know you've talked about you offer other lawyers to come in and try a case with you. You offer to fund other lawyers' trials so that they will be able to get the experience of going to trial where maybe there would be a financial fear of not going. How else do you give back?
So I have, primarily in Los Angeles, California, for 25 years, I've collected depositions of defense experts, and I give them to anybody who wants them for free. So I've got now about 6,000 depositions of experts, my trial transcripts, my depots, people who have done them. And I kind of network with that. So I help lawyers prepare for trial. I've written a Trial Lawyer's Bible that I give away for free that's got great information. And if anybody goes on my social media, my YouTube or my Instagram, they can just go in and fill out the form and they get it for free. And I offer free advice, business of law. I offer for people to come in to look at how I do my operations, look at my stuff. 98% of people don't follow up. No problem. But the 2% that do are people that work with me, people that learn. The clerks that work for me are the people that followed up with me when the 98% of the other ones didn't.
Yeah.
And that's who I hire. That's who I hang with. That's who I want to be around. And if they don't do that, they're out of my network. And if I don't do that with them, I'm out of their network, and there it goes.
And we'll definitely have links to your social and your website on the show notes for the show. But for the people that are just listening, how can people find you and find those resources? Are they online? Are they?
So my last name is Alder, Alder. I say I lose all my cases, so it's not Adler, it's Alder. Alder Talk is my YouTube channel. Mike.Alder and Alder Law are my Instagram, and Alder Talk is my TikTok. I'm also on LinkedIn under my name, and any of those. But I mean, I'll leave my cell number and my email here because most people don't follow up, and I encourage people to follow up. My cell phone is 310-710-3345. My email is cmalder@alderlaw.com. C as in cat, M as in Mike, ALDER@alderlaw.com. If you email me, text me, call me, message me, we will respond and we'll help you.
Well, you're inspiring me, and I hope people do reach out.
Thank you very much. Great to talk to you, and I've enjoyed learning about you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for joining us on Trial Lawyer Nation. I hope you enjoyed our show. If you'd like to receive updates, insider information, and more from Trial Lawyer Nation, sign up for our mailing list at triallawyernation.com. You can also visit our episodes page on the website for show notes and direct links to any resources in this or any past episode. To help more attorneys find our podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast on any of our social media outlets. If you'd like access to exclusive, plaintiff lawyer-only content and live monthly discussions with me, send a request to join the Trial Lawyer Nation Insider Circle Facebook group. Thanks again for tuning in. I look forward to having you with us next time on Trial Lawyer Nation.
Each year, the law firm of Cowen Rodriguez Peacock pays millions of dollars in co-counsel fees to attorneys nationwide on trucking and commercial vehicle cases. If you have an injury case involving death or catastrophic injuries and would like to partner with our firm, please contact us by calling 210-941-1301 to discuss the case in detail and see where we can add value in a partnership. This podcast has been hosted by Michael Cowen and is not intended to, nor does it create the attorney-client privilege between our host, guest, and any listener for any reason. Content from the podcast is not to be interpreted as legal advice. All thoughts and opinions expressed herein are only those from which they came.